Hello everyone, this is Nicholas Roddick, Head of Production of Next IT Security Series. And today with us we have Craig Jones, Director of Cybercrime Unit in Interpol. Hello Craig, glad to have you with us.
Nicholas, it's a great pleasure for me to be with you today as well.
Please share a little bit about yourself with us.
Absolutely. So I'm currently serving with Interpol here in Singapore, where for 5 years now I've been running their global cybercrime program, which aims to reduce the global impact of cybercrime and protect communities for a safer world. Part of my role is to work with our 196 member countries, helping to coordinate their activities, which help prevent, detect, and investigate, and also disrupt those cyber criminals around the globe. And that can either be against the people or also the infrastructure, which underpins obviously the internet, but also underpins their ability to carry out the crimes that they carry out on a global scale.
Very nice. Let's start with your comment about the current geopolitical situation and how this situation affects the cybersecurity landscape in Sweden.
So that's a really great opening question. I think we could spend quite a lot of time unpacking that. But just initially, we've seen certainly in the last sort of 5 years that I've been at Interpol, where we have 196 countries. Now, we're a neutral organisations, so we get some unique insights with law enforcement as to what's going on between countries, regions, and shall we say those like-minded countries that come together effectively. Yeah, so I think it's quite a wide-ranging issue that we have now around the geopolitics. We have the regions now were constructing and coming together and being more active around countering and combating the cybercrime side of things. But when we look at now as that cybersecurity or cyber being used as a weapon and a tool by countries against other countries and nations, and specifically around attacks on critical national infrastructure, if you take the ongoing sort of impact that we have in the Ukraine at the moment, and we look about the sort of attacks that have gone on there, which are fairly open, and we've seen, Russia taking actions there and Ukraine really having to defend itself. Then also we look wider on that then of attacks then on countries that maybe have come out and supported a country. They are then getting attacked in turn. So you have a sort of block being attacked by individual countries or other regions as well. And then that's impacted very heavily into a country. So Sweden is not alone where we're seeing financial losses. We're seeing those data breaches. As I said, there's attacks on that critical infrastructure. Then that has that sort of psychological effect as well, and that social effects that when you're online in Sweden as you are anywhere else, or you're being contacted or your information is going out, who's that information going to? So again, we have to be very conscious when we're online, or as companies when we're doing business, how we're doing that business, and then that cybersecurity aspect with the vulnerabilities built into that. So we see different layers within that on the geopolitical side where it is used by nation states, but also the cyber criminals and using the same TTP, shall we say, to ensure their viability in operating and impacting those financial losses on countries.
What will be the main lecturing point of your presentation, Interconnected Landscape of the Digital Age?
Yeah, so what I'm going to be talking about, certainly from a law enforcement perspective, my role here at Interpol is how we interconnect with our 196 countries. So that's from a law enforcement side. But also we do a huge amount of work with private entities as well, because from a law enforcement side, working about national construct, we often hear people talking about cybercrime being borderless. Unfortunately for law enforcement, we are totally constrained by our national borders. Now, obviously in the European Union, it's slightly different because you've got a good construct politically, financing, collaboration already. So that works very, very well. So you've got that interconnectivity there. But how does that interconnectivity work further out from there? And then what impact can law enforcement have and the private sector by working collaboratively to protect our communities? So I'm going to be giving some examples of what's worked, what I think we can improve on, and also some areas where really we are fairly inadequate at the moment in protecting our communities from harm, from certainly cyber criminals.
Last but not least, what will be the benefits of attending your presentation?
So, unless you've been a former director of cybercrime at Interpol, you may not have the sort of knowledge and insights that I very luckily have, having been at Interpol for 5 years, working again with all our member countries, being able to go in and talk to the White House, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, being able to go to Moscow, China, Indonesia, Singapore, and Africa. So I'll be able to give some unique insights, and pulling all of that together, what we should be able to get from that is some really interactive discussion and dialogue. And I'll be at the whole event for all of the time. So hopefully people will be coming up and chatting to me afterwards as well, challenging me about what is Interpol doing, but also for me being able to have that conversation with those leaders that are going to be here at this conference about how can they help, how can they assist, apart from making their own businesses secure and that supply chain secure, how can they in fact make Sweden more secure as well.
Thank you very much, Craig. And for the rest of you, see you on next.